and today we're here to talk about using timelines to walk into your ideal future and how you can do that. So what are NLP timelines? Well, NLP stands for Neuro-Linguistic Programming, and the timeline is a visualization tool where you have the timeline as your point of reference for this tool. So you imagine time spaced out in front of you, and then different points on the timeline, you get to visualize where your goal can sit. So it can be used to imagine your goals into existence. If you find that you have a goal that you're struggling to imagine, that you really want to achieve, but that feels impossible or very far in the future, we can use timelines to help you get to the point where you go, okay, actually, I think it's feasible then. I feel like at that point, I can have achieved it. That's the point of NLP timelines. So it's a really great exercise to use to help you think expansively about your goals, think creatively, and to start getting a little bit of self-belief around them. So how can you use timelines? Well, first of all, you need to know what you're going to achieve and set yourself a goal. We can use SMART goals for this. That's a great way of using goals. SMART goals are those that are specific, measurable, achievable, as in you believe you can achieve them, are relevant to you and your lifestyle, and they are time bound. So you know that they've kind of got a time in mind that you're going to achieve them by. And this is how we can use the timeline. We can work out when we're going to achieve them by and then work back from that point. So first of all, you need to visualize your timeline in front of you or underneath you. I'll talk about that in a moment. And then you can use the meditation to settle the goal into the timeline. So if you're finding it really hard to think of a point where that has happened, we're going to use that to make it work. And then you can work backwards and make a plan of action based on having done this visualization and working out where that goal sits. So are you an in-time or a through-time person? Now, as you can see from this diagram, the in-time person, that's the blue line, it goes right through the person and it's part of the person's body. So part of the timeline is in front of them and part goes through them and then part is behind them. And the bit that is kind of right through the center of them is the bit that's the present and happening right now. Whereas a through-time person can see the whole timeline in red, as you can see in front of them. Now, that's two different ways of looking at your timeline. So this is how you notice your timeline. So when we're creating this timeline, you'll either notice, oh yes, it's sitting, like it's actually going through me, like I'm part of it, or you're looking at it as if it's in front of you. So in-time people, they're great at being present in the moment, being fully committed to whatever activity they're part of and really enjoying every moment and living it very presently. Though the drawback of that is they can then be late as they're not so aware of time as a line, more as different individual events that they're taking part in. Through-time people are great organisers and planners. They're brilliant at allotting time for activities and seeing it as a whole plan. So, this happens, then that happens, and then this happens. Whereas they can find it harder to get lost and be present in a moment as they're more aware of, this is coming up next, so I need to go now. So that's another way of noticing whether you're an in-time or a through-time person. So now it is time to set your timeline. So just take a moment and visualize a line either in front of you or through you. We've just talked about whether you're an in-time or a through-time person. And when you've noticed where your line is, just take a moment to think, okay, so where is the past in relation to this line? Is it behind me if I'm an in-time person and my line is going actually through my tummy? Or is it maybe to the left or right of me if I'm a through-time person and can see the line in front of me? Then take a moment to work out where the present is. Is it literally the line through you right now in your tummy? Are you standing on it? Is it right in front of you? Where is the present? And then lastly, where is the future? Is it right out in front of you, into the distance? Or is it like to the side of you? Where does the future lie? And once you've worked that out, then just take a moment to close your eyes and we're going to come into the meditation. Okay, so just take a moment to close your eyes, take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. And just notice where you are on your timeline. And then think about this goal that you have in mind that you want to achieve. Where is that on your timeline? Float out of yourself where you are in the present and up above your timeline. And I want you to keep floating along the timeline until you get to a place where you think, yeah, this is where I can believe I have achieved this goal. This is the point at which I know, yeah, I will have done this. So you just float along the timeline until you get to that moment where you feel comfortable, and then float down into that moment. And that can be in a week's time, 2 weeks, 3 months, a year, wherever feels right for you. Even if it's 10 years, just take that moment to float along and settle into your timeline. And now you've settled into it, just take a moment to really enjoy this moment. What is it like now you've achieved this goal? How do you feel? What are you saying to yourself? Are you congratulating yourself? Are you giving yourself a high five inside? Are you bouncing with excitement? What are other people saying? Are they cheering you on like a crowd from the sidelines? Are they saying, well done? How does it feel in that moment? Knowing that you've achieved this goal that you've been working towards and it's finally yours. And just sit in this moment and really explore using your senses. So what do you see around you? Notice the colours. Notice the scene. Where are you? Who else is standing there? Are you on your own? Are there other people with you? Notice what you can hear, what they're saying, what your inner chatter is. And notice what it really feels like to have achieved this and enjoy this moment, this sensation, this warmth, this confidence, this energy, whether it's like the sun blazing down over you, whatever it is, just enjoy and breathe in. So let's just take a nice deep breath into this moment. And one more. And know that this is as a result of everything that you have achieved, of all your hard work and accomplishments finally coming together to give you what you've always dreamed of. You've made it happen. So now I want you to think about moving slightly further forward. You've achieved this goal. We're just going to move a little bit further forward to a day, a week or so after the goal has been achieved. So whether you want to float up again over your timeline or whether you just want to imagine yourself zipping along it, take yourself to that moment a little bit after you've achieved it and settle into that moment. What does that feel like? You've done it. It's not just that instant, oh, I finally got there. You're settled in this achievement, in this knowledge, in this growth. What have you learned? What have you learned from achieving this goal? From getting there, from doing it yourself? Who's there with you now? What can you see? What can you hear? What are you saying to yourself? Is the next goal already on the horizon? It's kind of set in motion something else? Or has it helped you solidify everything that you've learnt and all the ways that you've grown so far? Just think about everything that you have achieved to get to this point. Think about all the ways that you have grown to be able to achieve this goal. Everything within you that you have used, that has helped you, that has made you get to this point. Your skills, the support you've had, the different actions that you've had to take. Everything that's taken you from where you were to where you are here, having achieved the goal and then some. And really feel that. Let that feeling come right from within you, in your tummy, in your heart, in your whole body. Do you feel more energized? Do you feel more alive? How do you feel? And just take a moment to bask in this and enjoy it. You have done this. All your hard work, all the efforts and energy that you've put in have taken you to this place where you've achieved the goal that you really wanted to. And you can celebrate this win, and celebrate the fact that you've come out the other side, and you might have even achieved more since that point. So now is the first time we're going to start to look back. And I want you to float up above your goal, float up above your timeline. And I want you to turn around and look back towards now, towards the past. So what did you have to do? Can you see how your future has come from an alignment of everything happening in the past on the timeline? And I want you to slowly travel back and notice at each point what you had to have achieved. And make a mental note of all the skills that you picked up along this journey, all the actions you had to take, and at what time you did them. So let's just float back now, noticing how you've achieved so many different things on the journey to getting to that final goal. Were there pitfalls along the way? What did you learn along your journey? What support did you need? What actions did you have to take? Continue to make your way back through this moment, through your timeline, towards the now, which is in the past on the timeline, but where we will be starting from. And keep working backwards, noticing who you had to call upon, noticing what resources you had to tap into, what skills you're being reminded of. Actually, that's a skill that I had way back from childhood that I've only just had to tap into again now. And everything that you've learned and everything you've recognised about yourself on this journey, celebrate it. Celebrate every little thing that you had to do, that you've come through to get to the point where there you are, you achieved that goal. Keep going, making a note of everything you had to do until you get back to the now. And just take a deep breath. And recognise that this is possible. Something that you thought maybe felt wildly worlds away, actually you can achieve it. It's just knowing when. And now we've set it in stone on your timeline. You've set all the different other action points along the way as well. So just think about the resilience that you need, the skills that you have within you that you've had to tap into and grow. Think about all the ways in which you have had to use your resources, your support network, and every skill that you've ever had. And maybe there were some more you had to learn along the way. What did you have to do to get them? But know it is possible. You lived that moment. You know it's there. It's within you. So when you feel comfortable, come back into the room, open your eyes, and before you continue with the video, take a moment just to write down all the skills that you need, all the resources you need, all the support you need, and all the wonderful things within you that you are going to tap into, and past experiences that you can draw upon to help you move forward with this goal. If you want to write it down as a timeline, go for it. So now you've done the meditation, take a moment just to write down your learning, what you've taken from that. So think about your journey. What did you learn? What skills do you need to grow in? What resources do you need? What actions did you take and at what points? And what support did you need around you to help you with all of that? And once you've written that down, what is your first action step that you can take towards achieving this goal? As the quote says, time has a wonderful way of showing us what really matters. So this is why we use timelines, to get ourselves absorbed into the idea of achieving rather than stuck in the idea of, oh, that's impossible, because you're allowed to float to any point at which you can go, okay, yeah, I believe that's possible. Because halfway to achieving is believing that something's possible. So thank you for taking the time for yourself today, and you can always come back to this video at any point to revisit NLP timelines for any other goals that you like.